What's going on? My name is Amy. I'm a beginner 6-month day trader, and I recently started an experiment where I said I'm going to trade like Ross Cameron. So this guy, if you've been on YouTube and searched anything about day trading, I'm sure you've seen his videos. And I had success early on in like month 1, month 2, implementing some of his strategies. And yet I was kind of just figuring things out and I was trying different things and I wasn't ready to go all in with low float stocks and high volatility and, all this stuff that comes around the stocks that he trades. And fast forward a few months as I decided to start scaling backwards. And by that, I mean, I took some losses in month 3 and month 4. I said, you know what? Month 4, I'm going to revise what I'm doing and I'm going to trade really small. So if you go back on my channel, you'll see some of my older videos where I talk about trading very, very small positions. Like the one video that has the most views is like 122 tiny day trades later. And I talk about just scaling back from, I was trading share sizes of anywhere from 30 to 40, 50, 60, 70 shares. And I went all the way back down to 1 at one point. And I did 20 trades at a time and I built confidence and I started to figure out, what was working, what wasn't. And fast forward, to the end of last month. Last month was negative for me, but it was negative by $13 because I'm trading super small. But I said, you know what? Something clicked for me recently. And this is part of my aha moment is this thing clicking and also what I realized trading today with regards to taking profits. The one thing that really clicked overall though was, hey, what if I just focused on one trading style and one specific mentor? I've got my day trading resources down below. It's a free Google Doc where I've added, resources, links to videos on YouTube, specific people I've listened to and learned from. And at this point in time, I'm like, you know what? I just want to follow one person and I want to just try this for 20 trades and trade as much as I can like Ross. I realize there's a vast difference between us and where he's at, where I'm at. There's a huge learning curve to go through, but I'm basically watching a bunch of his free YouTube content and I read his book, or have read it, I should say, a couple of times. And I'm just using his free resources to implement the strategy and especially what he suggests for beginner traders, right? So I'm not trying to trade exactly like he trades because I'm not an expert level, but when I say trade like Ross, I mean follow what he teaches, at least from the YouTube videos. I haven't jumped into his warrior trading yet or anything, so I don't have any experience with that, but if you have, feel free to comment down below. And thank you guys that have commented on previous videos because it's really helped me to decide that once I finish my experiment, I'm probably going to do the introductory thing that he offers. There's like a trial for like $20. So just to kind of see, what's it like actually watching him trade live. So let's get into the video. That breakthrough moment, following one person specifically. And I should say too, part of the breakthrough moment is following the one person whose strategy you like to trade. Okay, so there's something to be said, of course, for the personality and who you're following, but there's also the idea behind know what kind of trading style you like to trade. And I realized a month ago or so, I was like, I really like to scalp. I get the kind of, quick rush when I'm doing these fast trades. And I've talked about some of my best trades. I was in it for a couple seconds to 90 seconds. And it seemed like all the ones where I was green were very short, fast trades. So I'm like, let's stick to that, right? And that's just kind of been the focus for me is like learning, okay, I like these kinds of trades. Now I need a strategy, I need a plan to follow, right? So I've got my plan, I'm following Ross's thing. And today, I got up even earlier. So I'm on Pacific time here in Las Vegas. And it's been, a period of growth for me to start waking up early and earlier so that I can trade pre-market like Ross does. And this morning I'm up like 3:45 a.m. It took me to about 4:30 a.m. to feel alert enough to sit down at the computer and start looking for trades. And by the way, we have a trading tribe on Telegram. And I say we because there's a growing group of us now who have come to my channel, followed me on YouTube. And when I started the trading tribe free on Telegram, people started jumping in and we started trading together in the mornings. And so we're just in there chatting it up, having a good time. And today was like, it just felt very uncertain, very risky to take trades. And there was some stuff popping up on the scanners and it was like, okay, and you'd go pull it up like on the chart. By the way, I use, you guys were asking too in the last video, what I use for a 10-second chart, because Ross trades on a 10-second, a 1 minute, a 5 minute, and a daily time frame chart. I'm using Robinhood Legend. If you have an account with them, it's free. I'm not paying for the pro version or anything. This is free. And you can go down at the bottom. There's intervals down at your bottom of your chart, and you can put a custom time frame. So I had to go in and make a custom one for 10 seconds. You can do minutes, hours, whatever. And I've got 10-second chart over here and a 1 minute chart over here. And then sometimes I'll pull up, I'm trading on Thinkorswim, by the way. I'll pull it up on that for a 5 minute chart just to kind of get, I'm not as interested in the daily yet. I'm just trying to like focus on a handful of things as I implement more and more of the strategy like Ross. So today we're looking at the stuff. We're watching Zendu on YouTube. It's like a scanner that's live streaming on YouTube. I'm watching Moo. Thank you for the several people that commented about, or is it Momo? I should say MOMO, Momo, for the free scanner that you can just Google and pull it up. I use my Google login for that. And, like I said, I sat down at 4:30 a.m. Pacific, so 7:30 Eastern, and we're scanning, we're looking, and everything feels super volatile, super crazy. There was like random stuff popping off, and we're just like, this seems like it was no news, or the volume was low, or it was an immediate pop and drop. And that's just major warning flags, if you're trying to trade like this in this market. It's like, okay, you can lose your butt, right? So we actually were looking at the thing I traded today. We were looking at it yesterday, ASST, and I mentioned it on my video yesterday talking about my win on GPUS. But today, although GPUS was popping again, we said again, there's no news here. Like, so we kind of bypassed that one. I remember we were looking at WGRX and ASST. These seem to be the two potential pops that might happen at the open. And here we are, like, it was like 6:15 a.m. my time, so like 15 minutes to the open. And I'm like watching, and I'm like, I'm just not getting the sign yet. Just not feeling like it's time to jump in. But then right about, I think it was about 2 to 3 minutes before the open, ASST starts moving. And I'm like, okay, if it crosses the 550 level, that's it, like game on, because that's a resistance level, and it had been hitting resistance and it was coming back down. So on the charts over here, and I'll show you guys my actual trade on my iPad here in a sec, but on the charts over here, my 10-second chart, so the open is like right here, right? And just before that, let's see, 620. Okay, so just before that, these are our 1 minute candles here. And it's kind of selling off a little, and it sort of dipped below the, my VWAP, which you guys, I know you can't see it that far away, but VWAP is like right here. And I was like, oh, it's so sketchy. And then when it got above 550, I'm like, okay, I'm getting in. So it starts moving really fast. I get filled at 560, and you'll see it kind of, it's stack. And I'm like, oh, cool, it's going to 6, right? And I'm in it, and I'm up, like, what was it? I got in 560. I'm up like 30 some cents a share. It's just right at the 6 level. And I remember thinking I could sell at the ask right now and I could jump out and I could take a nice gain. But then in the back of my head, I'm thinking of yesterday where I talked about my impatience of jumping out too soon and not waiting for things to grow a little faster. And at that time, I'm looking at the chart, I'm looking at my MACD, I'm looking at, the candles forming, and the obvious like get out now wasn't there. So I stayed, and that ended up being a mistake because immediately I have the thought that I'm going to stay in the trade, and it starts down. And next thing you know, we're getting these candles here, the reds coming back down. Like, I don't even know when, I think I was in it like around this area. I don't know. But you'll see over here, you got some indecisions, you got some like spikes and whatnot. It was moving so freaking fast that, I'm just hoping to get out with a profit. And I think I hit the sell at, let's see, it would have been like tap 6, comes back down. You guys can see these like long topping tails. I think I was selling at one of these like bottoming tails, and I get out at 567. So a 7-cent gain on 5 shares. By the way, I'm just trading super small like I've been trading during this experiment. And I'm like, dang, because I could have got out at that 6 level. I get out at 567 as I think it's possibly going all the way back down to my entry. And I'm thinking, well, let's wait a sec, see what happens. Maybe I can jump in it again, get a bigger scalp. Maybe it goes back up. It goes well over 6 was kind of like, my thinking. Well, of course, that's what happens. And you get these giant candles as it soars back up over 6. And this sucker goes up to like 644, which is, guess what, where I re-enter. And what happens after that? It halts. So I'm stuck in the trade at 644, and you can see this is where it halted. And I'm like, okay, well, at least it halted up, right? And you got this like 5-minute kind of waiting it out window. So I knew about 9:39 Eastern, it was going to release this halt. And my intention was to hold and see what happened, see if it would jump over 650 and maybe ride a little bit. So possibly I got filled in a weird place, or like the price moved so fast, or possibly I don't think I hit something wrong during the halt, because nothing would have gone through on Thinkorswim. But when I saw it unhalt, I saw a price of 659, and I was like, sell. Now, granted, I was selling at the ask. So this could have been why the fill was so different from what I actually got. I think going forward, like I was kind of like, should I sell at market? Should I sell at the ask? When it unhalted. And I was thinking, well, if I sell at the ask, I might get something out of it. If I sell at the market, I might get, squat. So that's what I did. I hit the sell ask button thinking I'm filling around 659, and unfortunately it filled at 645. So I literally made 1 cent per share on the second buy-in of 5 shares. And I, again, just not really sure, because I thought I saw it fill initially at 659, and when it actually went through at 645. It could have been that the price moved that fast, or it could have just been that's what the ask was at that time. I really didn't go back and check. I kind of just thinking of this now. So so we ended up, 2 green trades on the day, same stock, up 35 cents. Woohoo! To me, it's lately it's all been about capturing these small wins, capturing the green trades, just getting some successes under the belt, just learning how to implement this strategy of Ross's, where first of all, I have a plan. Second of all, I have confidence in the plan. Third of all, the actual execution. And this is my 3rd green day in a row trading like Ross. Monday was red, Tuesday green, Wednesday green, Thursday green. And I've done, let's see, I think it's, how many trades have I done now? I thought I had this added up. 4, 5, 6, 7. I think I've done 8 trades now, like Ross. 8 of my 20 experiment to see how this goes. And my aha thing around this whole take profits was, okay, what was the issue here? I was thinking of yesterday and wanting to be more patient about, hey, if there's not a stupid, obvious reason to get out of this trade, you should hold a little. However, what I realized was, number one, we're in this insanely volatile market where things can go shooting up, shooting down. The topping tails are ridiculous on these candles. These kinds of stocks, it's becoming common to see this sort of behavior. And I realized that it wasn't an issue of FOMO. It wasn't an issue of impatience, like jumping out of the trade too early. When I talked about things I wanted to correct yesterday, it wasn't, fear of losing money, honestly. What was my aha was that this is a conviction / confidence issue to resolve. And by that, I mean, because I sat there for that moment thinking, okay, 6 is a resistance level, but I'm gonna maybe wait and hold and see what, I wasn't convicted of where to exit that trade. Had I had a solid, I'm going to exit at plan, then I would have hit the button and I would have sold. But because I'm thinking wait and see, there's not really a plan around that, at least the way I trade. I found that my emotions will take over when I don't have specific guidelines, specific strategies, specific clear cut, this is the way it is, that's it, period. And because of that moment where I had a little bit of indecision and I feel like I took the wrong route, it was though because I didn't have confidence in where to exit the trade. And if I had just, thought in that moment, hey, what is my outcome I'm really looking for here? As Ross says, get in, get green, get out. Even if you feel like you're getting out too early, I could have looked at the fact that, hey, by the time I hit sell, it's close to 6, whatever. I'm already green, I'm already up, and I was up almost, 30 some cents. And that's huge on a freaking $5 stock at the time when I got in the first trade. And that's where I'm like, okay, going forward, and I think maybe a little bit of help if you're new at this, find out what type of trader you are and where your preferred strategy and comfort levels lie. For me, if I have been in a trade literally over a minute, it almost feels too long. So if I get in and I get green that fast, take the money and run. Grab the bag, go. Because I realize this is just how I like to trade. And as I gain experience, as I gain what I called earlier, these small wins, these confidence builders, then I can start to explore holding things a little bit longer. Now I did also in the previous video talk about, sometimes your losses exceed your wins when you're new because you're trying to figure out that fine balance. And right now, I think best thing for me to focus on as a beginner is, like I said, small wins, build confidence. Number 2, according to Ross's trading plan worksheet, which I downloaded for free, he said, if you are a beginner, now he put second month, I've been trading 6 months, but I'm definitely still in the beginner category. I'm not in an advanced, which he put 4 months. Even though I've been trading 4 months, I don't feel advanced at all. So we're not going to go with that. So beginner, he said, your P&L ratio should be 1, as in 1-to-1, up to 1.5. So if you can get the reward of at least what you're willing to risk, great. Good job, because that's just where you are right now. And if you can maybe stretch it to 1.5, great. If your risk is 20 cents a share and you get 25 cents a share, woohoo, awesome. There's no need to worry about doubling it at this point, okay? Like he said, get in, get green, get out. And I feel like I've been overthinking the whole exit strategy anyway. And because of that, I was caught like deer in headlights today a little bit and didn't know what to do. I did make a decision, but that moment of where I had to think about it, I should have known already before getting in that trade. I think initially I was like, okay, let's see if it gets to 575, which it did very quickly, 560, 575. And as it's approaching 6 though, I should have already had a plan in place. Like, am I going to bail, right? Yes or no, plan, knowing who I am, knowing I was up 30 some cents, should have bailed, should have sold, okay? Now, I'm not beating myself up or anything like that. You know, I'm happy to take my 7 cents a share. But you know, it's just like, today was a real aha moment that I am not having issues with jumping out of trades too soon, although it could look like that. I think just knowing where you're at on your trading journey and knowing what kind of trader you are, what makes you feel comfortable, and above all things, what gives you confidence. Because if you can build the confidence doing the things that you're doing and it's leading you to the road to profitability, then F it all else, like focus on that. That's all that matters, because when you're in that trade, it's you and you alone, right? There's no gurus, there's no videos, there's no coach helping you. It's you and your inner voice and you know, feeling convicted. If I had been like, oh, $6 resistance level, that's it, I'm out, I could have easily gotten, you know, like 3 times the profit per share as what I was actually exiting with. And Ross says too, when you're new, especially, sell into strength. Your goal is to like get in, get green, get out. But the idea is that you're okay with missing the rest of the move potentially, and that you are selling as it's going up. Like when I think back to some of my winning trades in the very beginning of my journey, I was trading ETFs that track Tesla. So like when Tesla was really bullish a couple months back, like November, December, I used to trade TSLR. It was an ETF that went long for Tesla, and you could buy shares very inexpensive. So I used to buy shares of that instead of directly. But what I noticed was if I had like a take profit, I knew my take profit, I would put in a sell order and I would hold things from pre-market to through the open. And there was many times I left profit on the table, but most of the time my goal with that leveraged ETF, by the way, was to get $1 per share. And many times I did when the market was bullish. So what I'm talking about here in regards to that story is I knew where a target was. Now, granted, I wasn't, I was looking at technical levels with Tesla, which you have to correspond with where the ETF is trading at, you know, $60 ETF versus Tesla's like 400, whatever. And I knew, okay, once Tesla kind of gets up in this range, it's probably a good idea to bail. So it's kind of like setting my take profit price based on the ranges with Tesla. So it was sort of kind of doing that idea back then. And I had, you know, good winning trades, you know, I was cashing out anywhere from like $30, $50, $80, whatever. You know, as a newbie, I was just like, woohoo, right? And when I started taking losses using a stop loss, by the way, it's been interesting trading without one. And I'll probably, you know, make a video at some point of like, after however many trades, I'll give it a good number, what it's been like having no stop loss, and give you guys kind of, you know, like, here's what I think about it. But it's been actually very freeing, because my initial concern of not using a stop loss, because when you trade in the pre-market, you can't, was that if I don't have a stop loss, maybe I'll be succumbing to holding trades too long. What I said before about like get in, get green, get out, and having a plan with the trading, taking profit, that also I should have a plan for the stop. And I've been really good about that. Like I'll get in the trade, I'll know exactly where my stop is, based on a technical level, you know, sometimes like just below the VWAP, just below the 90 MA, low of the last candle, you know, whatever it might be. But I know going in, right? And I'm gonna show you guys too, sorry for the delay on this, just kind of where these levels were on today's. Okay, so the circle, let's see if I can do this. So this circle over here, yoink, is where I got in when it was still pre-market, okay? And then I ride it through the open where you can clearly see the volume on the open. And then I'm, jumping out as this is a 10-second chart, by the way. I'm jumping out as it's coming back down where, it's like 3 good sized candles selling off. And that's where I was like, oh, it's coming back to my entry. I'm getting out, right? And at some point there too, I don't know how important this is, being that it's a 10-second chart, not a 1-minute chart or anything, but it did actually go below the 9 EMA. See the blue line here? It went below. And that's kind of where I was like, time to bail, And, it kind of chopped for a few 10-second candles and then it took its second leg up. So, yeah, I kind of got out like basically at a low when I look back at this chart. And this is one of the reasons this is like almost like the trading journal of shame here. It's like, okay, now you see what you didn't do. But obviously in the heat of the moment with these volatile stocks, you just don't freaking know what's going to happen next. Like that thing, when it started selling off from, my entry was 560, got all the way up to 6, coming back down. I saw I got out at 567, but it could have kept going well past the floor of 550. And was one of the concerns in my head was, okay, I need to know my take profit levels and I need to not have indecision about that. I also need to be very disciplined in when it hits the stop, that's it, we're done. Because it almost hit it and then I saw it bounce back up. So I stayed in the trade when I got in at that 560 price. And then when it came back down again, I was like, that's kind of when I was like, ooh, it doesn't seem as strong as I thought. So, every day is a learning freaking day, y'all. And now I know going forward that this idea of having confidence in whatever you're doing, and you don't have to be right or wrong in this aspect. It's just the confidence is what causes you to become a better trader. Because you put in the work, you put in the screen time, you put in the hours, and that helps build, obviously, the technical levels, the skills in your head and being able to read charts and whatnot. It also just gives you footing. Because what I talked about actually yesterday of when in doubt, stay out, that is so important because if you're getting in a trade and you don't feel confident behind that trade, regardless of everything being lined up perfectly, you will be more likely to do something incorrect or that you wish you hadn't done while exiting or while in that trade. For me, I was fully convicted getting in. It was the getting out part. And now I'm like, okay, Amy, the problem isn't, impatience, greed, or FOMO. The problem was a level of confidence of where I should exit. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Thank you all for commenting, sharing, liking. I see a lot of fans of Ross in here lately, which is great. Feel free to share your experiences, how that's going, if you did the free trial, or excuse me, the $20 trial, and if you ended up, joining and whatnot. I'm working on getting up earlier and earlier so that I could do the trial and actually get my full value out of it. It literally it takes me like 45 minutes in the morning to wake up. I'm trying to shrink that time down. So getting up at 3:45 this morning, I got up at 3:40 this morning. I'm trying to shrink the window of time it takes to become alert and get to work. But it's been fun. Come join us in the trading tribe. Link down below to join the Telegram group, and my day trading resources also down below. I've been adding videos that have helped me on the technical side, what I've learned from Ross. Just put in one yesterday, and I think it was indicators or exits, talking about exits and entries. Very helpful stuff. And one other thing. Sorry this video is so long. My plan going forward through this experiment of trading like Ross is that when I trade, anything that comes up that I'm like, ooh, I need to improve, I need to work on that, I'm going to go to his channel and I'm going to find a video about it because guarantee it's there. 2 things for me today, working on the profit taking, knowing when to exit, and reading level 2 data. because yeah, I need to get better at that too. So I am looking at it. I have it up on Thinkorswim. Don't exactly know what I'm looking at some days. It's like a blur, but I'm getting better at just absorbing, right? Just learning. So anyways, I'll see you on the next one. Take care.